So let's get the conversations move into the field of healthcare, where the operations of Ease Healthcare in South Africa reportedly has received a significant funding support from Standard Bank. That's the largest lending institution on the African continent. The healthcare financing comes at a time when healthcare providers and others are struggling to fund key equipment that are needed to deliver quality medical services on the continent. We chat to that development right now with Dr. Kanyinsola Oyeyinka in our Abuja studios. Dr. Oyeyinka is a Senior Vice President at Ease Healthcare. Great having you on the RS Exchange tonight, madam.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening.
Thank you, madam. And give me a little bit insight into your organization, Ease. How does it work?
So our organization is called Ease, which stands for Equipment as a Service. And essentially that is what we do. We provide equipment to healthcare providers as a service, providing flexible terms and helping them avoid upfront costs, which are usually a barrier to access in many of the countries that we work. So we offer pay-per-use solutions and solutions that allow these healthcare providers to pay for the use of the equipment without having to commit a lot of money up front.
So why is the funding support that you secured from Standard Bank of South Africa a significant one?
So, I mean, it's a significant milestone for us, and we're incredibly proud to have been able to secure this partnership and funding from Standard Bank, because what it means is that it really expands the scale that we are going to be able to achieve in the countries that we work in, South Africa in particular. It means that we will be able to reach more healthcare providers. We'll be able to deploy more medical equipment. We're talking about fairly high value pieces of equipment here. So in radiology, CT scanners, MRIs, and all the way to sort of even higher end with surgical robots. So having this additional funding from Standard Bank means that we are able to provide our service to many more. And outside of South Africa, it also means that we are also able to expand to other countries and to deploy our solution there as well.
How much are we talking about here, Doctor?
Sorry, come again?
How much are we talking about here in terms of the cash on the table, the funding support?
So look, I think we have a commitment from Standard Bank to fund what our ambition is over the next 7 years. I think Ease's ambition is to be able to deploy around $100 million worth of investment in South Africa over the next 7 years. We have the support from Standard Bank to assess customers on a case-by-case basis. These are our customers, the healthcare providers, and to deploy funding as we go along. So we don't have a sort of number, but we also don't have a cap. As the potential opportunities come, we assess them and should be able to provide our solution to them.
So how big is the potential we're talking about here, not just in South Africa? And then I'm looking at this model that you're operating at Ease. Well, if there are examples of where it works, where it works?
100%. So in South Africa, we are already working. We have deployed a PET-CT in the Northwest Province. We've deployed a surgical robot. We have a few other pieces of equipment that are on the way. So the model is already working in South Africa. The same is said for Ghana, where we have an MRI scanner in the eastern region. We also have a CT scanner, which is deployed in Accra. So we already have sort of proof of concept in these countries. There are healthcare providers that are already benefiting from this. We are obviously engaging with a lot of other healthcare providers who see the benefit. The truth is that this idea is not in itself brand new across the globe. Many parts of the world, in the US, for example, use sort of leasing and other methods to get access to medical equipment rather than buying. I think on the African continent, there's always been a lot of focus on ownership. And I think what our solution puts forward to the healthcare providers is that you as a healthcare provider can go a little bit further if your capital and your money that you have is spent, rather than putting it all in an expensive piece of medical equipment. We'll take on that burden for you. we will buy that piece of equipment, we'll put it in your facility, and then you get to pay us as you use it. And we will maintain that equipment to make sure that it is up and running and you can serve your patients.
Well, that looks like a very good partnership. But how do you generate revenue via this model?
So for the healthcare providers, of course, the patient fees, depending on the country that it's in, that's insurance-based or out-of-pocket. For us as Ease, we will charge a fee per scan or a fee per procedure. So I can give a specific example where we have an MRI scanner. We will have priced that offer to the customer on the basis of a price per scan. So each time the customer will use, this is the healthcare provider, will use that machine to scan a patient, a portion of whatever it is that they will earn will be paid to Ease. Our fee is not linked to what they pay, but we say to them, this is the cost it is per scan that you do, and that's how we generate our revenue.
Yeah, we've been talking for about 6 minutes now. You haven't mentioned Nigeria, and you're sitting there in Abuja studios. And you are a Nigerian. Oh, you know what my next question is?
I'm absolutely a Nigerian. I am in Nigeria. I know. Look,
so give me an answer to the question I haven't asked.
Nigeria is Yes. So are we in Nigeria? Nigeria is one of the countries that we started this on the African continent. The three countries that we have in our portfolio are Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa. We are still keen to deploy this in Nigeria. We are waiting for the right time. When we started out in 2022, the macroeconomic changes have made it a little bit difficult. And just to be clear about why it's difficult, simply that what the patients are able to pay for some of the scans just isn't enough to cover the cost of the equipment. And that is completely irrespective of whether the equipment is provided by Ease or whether the providers actually purchase it. So there is a bit of a gap on the patient funding versus the true cost of keeping some of the equipment we're talking about running. We are always looking for solutions. We're looking for more cost-effective options and things that we can deploy in the country, because at the end of the day, people still need access to healthcare, and we are committed to making that happen in whatever country it is that we're looking at.
Oh, okay, so talk to me about other major issues that healthcare providers face in Africa, aside funding. We talk about equipment, yes, equipment reliability, what about staff readiness, and so on? So staff readiness, yes. So it's something that we ourselves do not provide. So staffing, as you know, today is not yet part of our service offering. There's nothing to say that in the future it couldn't be, but it is a critical part of our assessment of a customer. So, you know, some people want a particular type of equipment, very high end, but when we assess and agree to provide our solution to a customer, we will together with them make sure that they are ready in terms of the expertise of the team they have on ground, also in terms of the rest of the infrastructure they have. So an MRI scanner, for example, if it's not a helium-free one, needs essentially uninterrupted power. Otherwise, you incur a lot of cost. So these are some of the assessments that we make to make sure that when that equipment is deployed, the staff there are trained. We will provide equipment training equipment use training as part of our service. So we will do that. However, the sort of clinical skills and that is still the responsibility of the healthcare provider, but we will train on equipment use. Very interesting conversation with you tonight, madam. We congratulate you and your team on the successful funding support from Standard Bank of South Africa. Thank you for coming on the show, and we wish you all the best.